What's up, y'all? You're watching Union Minded. I'm your host, Eric, and today we are going to talk about the real boss of America. I came across a post about a week ago, and it was a post that was, I thought, very important. It resonated with me deeply, and I wanted to share it with you guys. I'm not the author of this post, but I believe this post deserves a broader audience, and so I'm sharing it with you on my channel in the hopes that you can take away something from it, as I have taken something from it. So let me dive on in. The real boss of America, an IBEW Local 26 perspective. Every electrician in the IBEW knows the difference between the person giving orders and the document that gives those orders power. On a job site, a general foreman or superintendent can shout and demand all he wants. But if those orders go against the contract, they do not hold weight. The contract is the authority. The foreman is only borrowing authority from that agreement. Our country works the same way. Many people speak as if the president is the boss of the United States. They act like when Trump, Biden, or any other president gives a command, it instantly becomes the law of the land. That is not how this nation was built. The president is like the foreman. His power is limited, temporary, and valid only within the boundaries of the larger agreement. The Constitution is the contract. It is the real boss. The Constitution is older than any president and stronger than any political party. It lays out the rules for how Congress makes laws, how the courts interpret those laws, and how the executive branch enforces them. It sets the limits on the presidency itself. Without it, a president can act like a king. With it, no one, not even the most powerful office in the land, can rise above the rules. In recent decades, Congress has handed more authority to the presidency, and too many union leaders have sat on their hands, acting like the health of our democracy is none of their concern. That is cowardice. If we can fight for the contract at the bargaining table, we can fight for the Constitution in our country. Trump's record shows how far a president will go if the contract is not enforced. He has removed independent agency heads and watchdogs who were supposed to check corporate power. He has ordered agencies to follow White House dictates instead of the law. He has declared crime emergencies in Washington, D.C. to seize local authority and deploy federal forces against residents. He has targeted immigrants, especially the undocumented, and used federal troops to intimidate communities. He has issued executive orders to roll back civil rights, environmental protections, and oversight of government. He has pardoned allies who attacked democracy itself. Every one of these moves is a violation of the principle that no president is above the Constitution. It is the equivalent of a foreman ripping up the collective bargaining agreement and daring the crew to stop him. And if we accept it, we lose not only the contract, but our dignity. Local 26 is not just any local. We are the local that works in the shadow of the Capitol, the White House, and the Supreme Court. The international office of the IBEW is in our backyard. That means the eyes of the entire labor movement look to us. If we cannot stand firm here against authoritarian power, what message does that send to locals across the country? IBEW was built on the principle that workers deserve dignity, fairness, and a voice. We enforce our contracts because we know without enforcement, they are just words on paper. The Constitution is the same. It is a contract between the people and those in power, and it must be enforced or it becomes meaningless. For Local 26, our role is bigger than just wiring data centers and government buildings. We live and work at the intersection of labor and politics. We have both the proximity and the power to demand accountability. We can educate our members, pressure Congress, and use our voice in the nation's capital to remind the world that the president is not the boss, the Constitution is. Labor history gives us the blueprint. The Flint sit-down strike forced General Motors to recognize the UAW. The Memphis sanitation workers' strike in 1968 demanded dignity with signs declaring, "I am a man." Teachers in West Virginia, Chicago, and Los Angeles walked out in recent years and won better pay and funding. None of those victories came from waiting for a president. They came from workers standing up together. Civil rights victories prove the same point. Rosa Parks, refusing to give up her seat in Montgomery, launched a movement that toppled segregation. Local sanctuary ordinances protect immigrant workers from unjust crackdowns, even when the federal government pushes the opposite agenda. Undocumented laborers in construction, meatpacking, and agriculture still risk everything to demand fair pay and safe conditions. They often act with more courage than citizens who have far more protection. These examples show us what happens when everyday people enforce the contract. Rights are defended, dignity is restored, power is forced to respect limits. Not every union contract allows strikes, and the IBEW often operates under no-strike clauses. That does not mean we are powerless. Just like in politics, power is enforced in many ways beyond walking off the job. Local 26 can mobilize members to attend hearings, confront politicians, and enforce accountability. We can build safety and political education committees that expose overreach and tie it directly to our members' lives. We can lead campaigns that link union rights with immigrant rights, showing that the contract only holds if it applies to all who labor. At the international level, the IBEW can use its national voice to file lawsuits, lobby Congress, and demand oversight of executive power. The International can build coalitions with civil rights groups, immigration organizations, and environmental advocates, recognizing that authoritarian overreach is not just a political problem, it is a worker problem. At the cultural level, our members must live the counterexample. When authoritarian politics push hate, division, and blind loyalty, we must embody solidarity, fairness, and truth. That means refusing to parrot falsehoods, refusing to excuse abuses of power, and insisting on treating all workers, native-born, immigrant, and undocumented, as brothers and sisters. Union officials who stay silent in the face of authoritarian power are not leaders. They are complicit. If you are a union political official and you are not working with your membership to build a plan to fight back, you are not doing your job. Titles mean nothing without courage. And members who insist the president is the boss and betraying their own knowledge, I misread that. And members who insist the president is the boss are betraying their own knowledge. You already know the contract is the boss on the job. Pretending otherwise in politics is laziness or misplaced loyalty. That weakens the union. It weakens democracy. It weakens the very idea of solidarity. Presidents come and go. Their names rise and fall just like contractors in our trade. But the Constitution remains. It's like a union contract that outlives foremen, managers, and even entire companies. The real boss is not the person giving orders. It is the document that sets the rules for those orders. And like any contract, it only works if it is enforced. The real boss of America is not Trump, Biden, or any other president. It's not even Congress when it hands away its responsibilities. The real boss is the Constitution. And it is only as strong as the people and the unions willing to defend it. If Local 26 does not step up in Washington, D.C., where power is exercised in full view, then who will? If the IBEW International will not lead the charge, then what example is set for the rest of labor? So here's the call to action. IBEW leaders must rise to this moment. Build a plan with your members. Educate them. Mobilize them. Use every tool available, from lobbying Congress to joining coalitions, from legal action to public campaigns. Show that the IBEW does not cower before authoritarian overreach, but stands as the living proof that solidarity and democracy go hand in hand. If you do not act, if you do not act, you fail not only your members, but the entire labor movement. If you do act, you set the example for every local and every union in this country. Amen, brother. Amen. I agree with this entire sentiment. The entire statement doesn't need any add-ons from my dumbass. I agree with it. Amen. Y'all keep in mind that the fight's not left and right. It's up and down. It's going to take solidarity to win. Always. Each one teach one, get out there and reach one. And remember, there could be no union without you and I front and center. So let's go. Peace.